Welcome to our 41st state park adventure, part of our fall foliage expedition. This time, we're exploring Ole Bull State Park, deep within the Pennsylvania Wilds region. I arrived late the night before and was lucky enough to witness something incredible, the northern lights dancing over the valley. This park, covering just 132 acres along Kettle Creek, is another gem hidden within the PA Wilds. Today, we'll be hiking through old Hemlock Forest, passing beaver dams, and visiting the ruins of a castle that never was, Ole Bull's dream home. But who was Ole Bull? Born in 1810 in Norway, he was a world-famous violinist, captivating audiences across Europe and America. Beyond music, he was also a dreamer. In 1852, he purchased over 11,000 acres here in Pennsylvania, hoping to create a Norwegian utopia. He simply called this area New Norway and also built settlements like Olena, Valhalla, and New Bergen. His vision, a thriving colony where his countrymen could farm and build a new life. But unfortunately, the land was too rugged for farming, and legal troubles over land ownership sealed its fate. By 1853, the colony was abandoned, and Ole Bull's dream was lost to history. Today, Ole Bull State Park preserves his legacy. Established in 1925, it's a place where history and nature collide. In this episode, join me as we explore the trails, the ruins, and the untamed beauty of this park. Truly one of the most unique stories in all of Pennsylvania's wilderness. And as always, enough talking, let's get to hiking. Alrighty folks, well good morning and welcome back to an all-new adventure, an all-new episode with Maxim Outdoors. As you probably already seen, we are here in none other than the moody, mysterious, foggy Ole Bull State Park located up here in the PA Wilds, Potter County. And I'm going to be taking you all through this park today, hiking all 4 miles of the trails, telling you about the history, and just doing our best to document this beautiful area. It is the second week of October right now. As you can see, pretty much peak fall foliage here up in north central Pennsylvania. I got here around 5 p.m. last night. As you can see, set up the old Coleman, had a nice little fire here, and to top things off, it was one of the most incredible nights of my life. The northern lights were out in full force. I got so many awesome pictures, so many awesome videos I'll share with you all, but yeah, just icing on the cake. But yeah, like I said, today we are going to be hiking all 4 miles within this tiny park, just a little over 100 acres, and just doing our best to document state park number 41 for the channel. So I will leave you with this view. I'm going to throw on the bag and we are going to head on this way and check out, I believe it's called like the Beaver Meadow Trail. So let's get the bag on, enough talking, let's get to hiking. How's this for a view? Gotta love these October mornings, fall foliage, fog, just absolutely moody out here. This is my kind of season. I'm currently standing right above Kettle Creek and right along the Susquehanna Trail. You can see the orange blazes there. The Susquehanna Trail will continue on, head up the hills off in the distance that you can't see on through the fog, and continue on. I believe it's about an 86-mile loop backpacking trip that is definitely on my bucket list. So if a few of those names sound familiar, go back to the PA Wild Summer 4th of July road trip. We hiked about 10 miles of the Susquehannock Trail from Patterson State Park down to Prouty Place. And if Kettle Creek sounds familiar, we camped at Kettle Creek State Park. We're actually north of there right now. Kettle Creek will meander its way on down to Kettle Creek State Park. But yeah, a little information for you. Check these views out though. It is fall and I love it. So we're gonna continue on down, head off to the right there and grab a map from the visitor center before tackling our first trail of the day. So let's get it. All right, well, saying goodbye to the old CCC pavilion off in the distance. I will pan you around here. Kettle Creek off to my right, and here is your first view of the 1 mile loop trail along the Beaver Haven Trail. So we'll be keeping our eyes open for some beaver today. And as you can see in front of me here, there are a lot of giant trees, and maybe if you aren't the best at IDing, this was one of the first trees that I would learn how to identify, and one of the easier ones. These are sycamore trees. You generally find them along any drainage, any waterway, any river. What's that? Oh, look at that, an eagle. All right, we've been having a lot of eagle luck here lately. But anyway, back to the sycamore trees. They are one of the first trees to drop their leaves in the fall time, and they have some of the bigger leaves. An easier way to ID them, they have like these white splotches, and the older they get, their main bark seems to just fall off. But yeah, sycamore. There's a big sycamore across the creek there, as well as these two guys. You can see like the spotted white along the tree. One of the easier trees to ID, in my opinion. But yeah, enough tree talk. Let's go check out the Beaver Haven Trail. What do you say? Still on the Beaver Haven Trail, following along beautiful Kettle Creek. Pretty crazy to see all these wildflowers still in bloom after a frosty night last night. But off to my left, we have this pretty spooky view. Look at this. Looks like a bunch of white pine just abruptly died off in this area. Not sure if there's a fire or maybe an invasive species. And another thought kind of crossed my mind. Maybe the beavers kind of dammed this area, made it marshier, and maybe they couldn't survive that type of soil. But yeah, definitely an eerie view here in October as the fog starts to rise above all these dead pine. Cool nonetheless. So we're going to continue on down, and there's a kingfisher. All kinds of wildlife this morning, so let's keep going. Yeah, how's this for a view? I popped out of the vegetation and got this pretty impressive sight. Nice look at the beaver pond as the fog rolls across the surface. No sign of any beaver, but this was definitely worth the hike so far right here. Pretty incredible. As you can see, the deeper we get into this trail, the denser these woods get. We are now on the Beaver Haven extension, and the trail is definitely not too worn in. Found it kind of odd. This is one of the only areas that I've ever found that all trails did not support the trails. There's no trails at all for Ole Bull on all trails. And I was talking to one of the workers here last night, and she informed me that elk are very prominent in this area. She said a bull elk likes to come and go from the campground. So I'm keeping my eyes out as we head on through this thick forest, because this would be prime bedding for a herd of elk. That would really make today even better. But yeah, look at this forest. Well, did I already say how much I love hiking in the fall? Everything. The views, the crunching of the leaves underneath your feet, the smells. The smell has to be one of the most underrated factors of fall hiking. The weather, I mean, it is in the 40s right now. Perfect. But yeah, you cannot beat these views. Looks like we are going to meet back up with Kettle Creek here. There's some rock ledges off in the distance. All these ferns dying off in just a few short months. There'll probably be a foot of snow on the ground here. No leaves at all. Yeah. All right, well, just got done doing a little road hiking, and I am currently on the search for our next trail. We probably hiked a good quarter to a half a mile in search of, I believe it's called the Hemlock Swamp Trail. Just hiked on through the group section, group tent section of the state park, but as you can see, the sun is out. You can see some of the hills off in the distance as we traverse on through Ole Bull Valley here. It's an old service building off in the distance there. But yeah, this park definitely lacks in some proper signage, because I'm having difficulty trying to find my way around here. Yeah, I think I might have made a wrong turn. Bunch of burnt firewood, concrete, an old trailer, even a kitchen sink. So I'm gonna head up here a little further and see if we will eventually link up with the trail. But as you can see here, I'm like in the state park dump right now. Doors, bed frames, fire pits. Yeah. The things you don't see at the state parks. Check out this birch tree. As you can see, pretty wavy coming on down. Tell me this doesn't remind you a little bit of the Lord of the Rings. Looks like it's got two legs running on through the forest. Alrighty folks, well, believe it or not, it is almost noon, and I figured I would talk to you a little bit more about the history here in Pennsylvania. So a nice little segue. Like I said, it's almost noon, but you can see how dark and mysterious this forest is. So rewind back to the 1700s when those early settlers would have been coming into the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They would have seen forests very similar to this. Imagine coming into these forests back in the 1700s, chock full of Native Americans, mountain lions, bison, elk, pretty much everything you can imagine. And yeah, those early settlers were pretty terrified to come into these woods. And they referred to it simply as the Black Forest, just dominated by these giant, ancient, old growth hemlocks, beeches, birches, you name it. But yeah, just figured I would touch upon a little bit about the Black Forest located here in northern Pennsylvania. So pretty cool. All right, well, as you know, this is the Hemlock Swamp Trail. We have already seen our hemlocks, and just in front of me here, it looks like we are going to be heading on through the swamp. This looks like this might be interesting. The ground is very, very soft. You can see there, looks like somebody got a wet boot, but so far so good. Very overgrown though, as you can see. I'm going to be having to check myself for ticks after this one for sure. I'm gonna keep pushing through. Looks like there might be a little bit of a clearing up ahead, but I'm probably covered in ticks right now. This is some of this is as tall as me. Alrighty, well, that will wrap up the Hemlock Swamp Trail. Like I said, we have one more trail to do. I believe it is 2 miles up to the Castle Vista. If you learned anything from the beginning of this video, the intro, this whole section is going to be all about Ole Bull, the Swedish violinist. We're going to see where he intended to build his castle, but ultimately failed. So I will see you on that trail in just a few seconds. So see you there. Alrighty, well, you can probably hear and make out the campground off through the trees there as we begin to gain a little elevation here along the Daughtry Trail. I was honestly pretty surprised on how busy the campground was last night. Maybe a lot of people are just chasing the northern lights up here in the very low light pollution areas of Potter County and the PA Wilds. But yeah, it got cold last night. It was easily down into the low 30s. Luckily enough for me, I brought my tent heater, and every once in a while I'd roll over and just crank that thing as high as it could go. And yeah, it was a good night of sleep. But yeah, hopefully the northern lights are out once again tonight. If they are, I will be sure to post any videos or images I get of it at the end here. But yeah, as you can see, we are gaining a little elevation here on the 2 mile long Daughtry Trail, and the grand finale, I guess you can say, of this hike will be checking out Castle Vista. And from what I've seen, it doesn't look like the best vista, but for history's sake and for taking you guys along, we're gonna check it out. It's probably one of the main highlights of this park besides Kettle Creek itself. It's where Mr. Ole Bull himself tried to build his house, his castle. And I'm not sure if there's some ruins that remain, but we'll do our best to document and try to find anything still remaining in the area. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to climb and huff and puff my way up the mountains here in Potter County. So I'll see you at the next interesting stop along the way. what a magical spot this is. No cell service. I have adopted this stream here, named it Daughtry Run. I've been hanging out here for the last 20 minutes, just getting some epic shots, watching the leaves rain down upon the forest floor. But yeah, we are in the middle of nowhere. And it's just an awesome feeling. Look at all the ferns, the vibrant yellows and oranges hanging out along Daughtry Run here. Couldn't ask for a better 20 minutes. You can almost imagine some elves or gnomes living alongside this stream here. But yeah, we have crossed Daughtry Run, and now we are going to start descending on down to Castle Vista. So just wanted to stop here and show you this magical little spot here. And here we go, our final ascent of the day. We are climbing up to the 1,355-foot mountain known as Norgeskold, I believe named after Ole Bull himself. So imagine being a Norwegian immigrant back in the 1800s, 1852 to be precise, coming up here, leaving your homeland, sailing across the Atlantic in the 1800s. I mean, that would be scary in its own. And coming to America to hopefully settle and find a better life, and ultimately, sadly, failing. But these Norwegian folks would have climbed this mountain carrying supplies, food, their children, and off to the left here, we are going to see where Ole Bull himself wanted to build his cabin. Apparently, all that is remaining here to this day is a foundation. So we'll try to find it, but we have made it to Norgeskold Mountain here in Ole Bull State Park. So alrighty folks, well, we did it. All good things must come to an end, and we have arrived here at none other than Castle Vista after a long, arduous day tackling State Park number 41. But I won't let you wait any longer. I will give you the grand view where Ole Bull wanted to build his castle. So wait no longer, check that out. All the rolling hills and mountains here located up in God's country. You can see the vibrant colors of the fall foliage, hemlocks dotting the hillsides, even a very vibrant mountain off in the distance there. Just a breathtaking viewpoint, a lot better than what I was expecting. So yeah, who wouldn't want to build a castle right here with this view? And speaking of castle, if you're curious about the old foundation that I referred to, well, wait no longer. Just up the hill here is where Ole Bull would have built his cabin slash castle. And as you can see, they have erected a sign here. This would have been the old footprint of where he wanted to live, but it says the famous Norwegian violinist, not Swedish, located a colony of fellow Norwegians near this site in September of 1852. From this vantage point, Ole Bull started to build his castle. This large wooden cabin was never completed, and all that remains is the foundation and stone retaining wall along the mountainside. So yeah, obviously it talks about the colony disbanding and moving out to Michigan and Wisconsin. But yeah, what an area. Like I said, who wouldn't want to build a cabin overlooking this? And to make matters even sadder, Ole Bull obviously fell in love with this area after he left. The lumber industry moved in and just clear cut everything you see here. So imagine him leaving and coming back in 20 years. Yeah, this would have been all devastated. It probably would have broken his heart. But yeah, enough talking. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this episode. We're gonna sign out from State Park number 41. Another state park documented. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave me a comment down below. Big shout out to everybody that watches these videos each and every week. We are nearing 25,000 subscribers. Mind blowing. So yeah, also big shout out to all the Patreon supporters out there. We are well over 15 right now. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, really, you guys make trips like this possible. So we are going to continue our fall foliage bonanza and head on to State Park number 42 next week. So if you aren't subscribed, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Maybe you're Norwegian and you're watching to find out some history about Ole Bull. But yeah, enough rambling. I'm going to get back to camp, go get some food, and hopefully the northern lights are out again. If they are, I will put the video of those at the end of the video here. So yeah, thanks for joining me again. Another state park checked off the list, another state park documented, and I will leave you with this gorgeous view of Castle Vista.